Okay, we're at day 13. OMG. I'm kind of glad that I'm doing this because it kind of, bring me back to a reminiscing time so I can think about how good our daddy has been to me, and even during the storms that I have been in my life and how he's brought me through. And so as you can hear in the background, Yolanda Adams' song, Through the Storm. He's right there with us through the storm. I don't care what the situation may be, whether the enemy is trying to get you to believe that he is winning. The devil's stupid. That's why he do what he do, right in the midst of those things that we think that we can handle. And then he wants to reminisce on the pain of the situation or the shame of the situation. But he's crazy. Listen to what Yolanda say. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, he holds you while you're riding in the storm and while you're trying to endure this pain. But see, what he really wants you to do, he wants you to embrace it. He's with us, even in the storm. He wants you to embrace this particular part in our lives where it seems too much to bear. I want to be talking to you today about embracing your season of pain, because we're all going to have to embrace it. We're all going to have to take a good audit over our lives to see, have I really, really let go of those things? Have I really, really, did an in-depth review of my own personal pain? Meaning, have you did an assessment of that to see where you are? I love the commentary that Jennifer Odell gave in one of her books, too. It says that we develop an inner calm when we allow ourselves to feel any pain we are exposed to. And that's true. We begin to recognize the fact that it's something that needs to be processed. It goes on to say that the sorrows of the past and present are real and must be addressed before freedom and joy can be experienced. So many times that we, over our life in the course of the pain that we've endured, you go, Lord, how much longer? Hopefully I can talk about tomorrow, our comforter, and how he is always there. But when we're going through pain, when we're recognizing that it seems that, the stuff is just taking too long, it seems that it's a natural thing, look like, for everything to still just be dry, everything to still be painful. Everybody's still treating you like a stepchild or a great reject. But we got to know the great I am is there. He is our comforter. When peace is not giving us what we want to have in the atmosphere or in the situation, we got to recognize the fact that peace is not the absence of pain. We got to know that even in the storms or even in the midst of things that seem like it's okay, there comes hell trying to push us down or trying to recreate our atmosphere into something that is not good and not peaceful. But I wanted to go on to share what she was saying about how we stuff our grief. And, so many people have suffered, with loss of family members and so much, bloodshed in the city. But when we stuff our grief, she said it prohibits the soul from knowing the great joy of solace and relief, which is so true. People stuff these things down. That's why so many kids are, bullying, and so many kids are taking their lives, and, marriages are going bad because nobody want to talk about the thing. Because, even when you separate from a loved one, it's still grief. Even if you're going through a relationship battle with a friend, it's still grief. It doesn't matter even if you lost someone. Grief is grief, and when you stuff this stuff down in your soul, in your heart, it becomes hard. It becomes an emotional strain, and so we got to know that the release has to come. In order for us to do that, we got to talk about. See, most of the time, the problems that we have in the things that we go through in our lives, we've been taught. This stuff comes from childhood. We've been taught that you need to quit acting like you, especially the boys. You need to quit acting like a sissy. You need to quit crying all the time. You need to quit showing all this weakness in your face and your behavior. It looks too girly. But what they taught us is that, even from an early age, we've been taught that we are not to feel or we're not to show pain. But it's totally opposite. God wants us to acknowledge the fact that we're going through pain. That's ringing our bell that something has to change. It's ringing our bell that something needs to be processed in our lives. And so I remember when I was going through with my message for you today, I was going through a very, very tough time, especially when I went through a divorce. I was going through a great grief. And, being with somebody that long, in your life, and you thinking that you both would just leave here, one with rocking chair, well, both of you with a rocking chair with no teeth. I felt that would be it, that he would be my knight in shining armor, and it would be already all right. Not the one that tried to kill me. I'm just talking about a husband. I'm not going to say which one because I have been married 3 times. First one was a drug addict. The first one, was attempted murder. The second was a drug addict. And the third one just didn't want to be married to a preacher woman. So you can go guess. But let me tell you this. One thing I realized is that I was grieving. I had to go seek counsel. See, many of us think that we're so blessed and highly favored and anointed and super spiritual that we don't need no counsel. All we need to do is just tell the Lord about it. And this is so true. You better tell our daddy God. But the Bible says that in the multitude of counselors there is safety. Many of us don't want to get counsel. When we're going through the storms that she was talking about in there, sure, he's going to be in that boat with us. Sure, he's going to be there for us. But we got to recognize when it's time to go get counsel. See, these areas in our lives when we are in this season of pain, God is trying to get us to recognize that it is not okay. It's not okay that you stay there. It's not okay that you continue to grieve there. It is not okay. It's not okay for you to hold that anger in. It's not okay for you to continue to be bitter and won't forgive. It's not okay. See, these words that we've learned, these behaviors that we've learned to try to stuff it down or ignore or reject those people who hurt us, we continue to keep that thing inside, and guess what? Somebody else now has to pay for what the other person's done because you refuse to get your help. It may be a season that you need to embrace the pain. Yeah, you need to embrace the pain. That means if you're embracing it, you're seeking help. See, the words is not going to be all right that we have learned to just don't think about it. No, or don't cry about it, or don't be sad. All you hear this in your childhood ringing up about, that's all she do is whine. That's all he do is act weak. But what you heard is not all right. You have got to deal with those things, because it is not going to just be all right for you to hold that thing in, so you won't let nobody know you feel tired or grieving or weak, or that you're hurting. In this season of pain, you hear me? I don't care if you're a man or a woman. And I don't care how many degrees you got. Pain spells the same. P-A-I-N. Pain feels different for everybody depending on what you're going through. But the fact of the matter is it's pain. And it is going to show its ugly face in some kind of way if we don't get help. And so when you're hearing that voice from your childhood that says, don't cry or be sad, and don't call yourself looking weak, this is not from God. This is from someone who was taught the same thing. And that's the reason why they feel bitter all the time. They don't forgive, and they hold grudges, and, they're bitter and they backbite and grumble and complain. These are the ones that don't know about God. These are the ones that don't understand how important it is that we recognize that we can't give up, but we've got to make sure that we take a good assessment about what we need to do to soothe this distress, to take us out of this isolated, unforgiving, and bitter state. And so, sure, pain is hurtful. Pain is shameful. But we've got to embrace it so that we can move on and get past those things and be better. And so my message from that, going through that divorce, looking at how hard it was for me, especially being a public figure like I am, and having an international television show, and always, puffing up, not to say puffing up, but always just giving kudos to my husband, on the show. It was devastating to me to know that apparently he's watching my show and so is his girlfriend, him and them both, on the very night that I'm doing my show. That was painful, And so I wanted to hide. I wanted to run away. So I left Houston and went to Florida. I think I told the story already. And decided I'm going to stay down there for a while until I can try to get over this shame. But what God did, he brought me right back here and said, you're going to deal with this because those who know me will understand. But those who do not know me, they will not understand. They will not understand pain because they don't understand love. They don't understand forgiveness. All they know is pride. And I thank God that he broke me from that. He broke me from that to understand I had to embrace that season of pain. I had to embrace that season of shame. And so you got to understand that if we can re-examine, we got to re-examine what we're hearing. We got to re-examine these certain sorrowful episodes that we continue to go through and how we allow the pain to surface. It's going to be a very, very serious matter if we're not dealing with it. And so the void that's been created, we need to understand that it can be replaced with love and happiness and peace and joy and unity. It can be. Because you don't have to act like that person just because of what they've done to you. It's not pleasant to feel pain, but guess what? But to reach the full capacity of our dreams and visions and things that God has given us to do, and hoping that, if you've been married before and it didn't work out, or maybe if you hoping that God will send you that perfect wife or husband, none of them going to be perfect. I got the news flash for that. But the one that God has chosen for you. Once you realize that is going to come to fruition, once you embrace the fact that you're going to get past this part of pain and loneliness and depression, once you realize that you don't have to stay in that place, that you can just tell God, our Daddy God, I need you. Will you lead me to a counselor who is sound in your word and who loves you and won't be biased, with truth? Pain must be allowed to be felt. That's what I have to break you to understand right now. You have to be broken in this area to think that you supersede pain. Pain is here. If you slap somebody right now, it may not be very big to them in pain, but you can rush through it. It must hurt because they want to slap you back. You got to understand pain is pain. And it may be a pain that you're feeling in your own way. It must be a pain that you may be tired of enduring, because it's been too long and you want it to change. Or look like you're never going to get married. You look like your husband's never going to come. You're tired of feeling this shame that God has showed you the husband or showed you the wife, and then it comes out the fact that you got to hide that because they wasn't the one. It's painful and it's shameful. But we have to embrace it, and we got to know that the greatest blessing usually comes after the longest waiting. Isn't that something? Because God wants the best for us. He wants to make sure that we take a good long look and assess, and then tell God, I'm ready to embrace. I'm ready to embrace this. I'm ready to face this. I'm ready to deal with this. And so that's pretty much what I want to share with you today, how important it is that you re-examine these sorrowful episodes in your life and allow pain to surface, allow pain to come up, let its ugly head stand up so that you can move forward in your life. And so what she said, just for the day, and I agree with her, just for today. Come on and say that to me. Just for today, okay? It may not feel good in the morning, but you hearing me right now. I want you to say this out to me so you can move forward, so you can start to assess this pain, so you can start looking at the shame and make a decision that you got to come out, that you got to allow it to process. You got to allow the pain to come on up, stick its ugly head up, and replace it with sound counsel so you can move on in your life and become more happier and freer. So come on, repeat this after me. Just for the day, Lord, just for the day, I will allow myself, come on, say it, just for the day, I will allow myself the right to feel pain. Now, was that hard to say that? Say it again. Just for today, I will allow myself the right to feel pain. My pain from my past or my pain of my present. So that I may find, come on and say it, so that I may find my inner light of hope and faith in you. Come on, dear God, just for today, I will allow myself the right to feel pain. Pain of my past or pain of my present, so that I may find my inner light of hope and faith in you. Well, God bless you. I pray that this short message helped you tonight. Remember, I don't care what kind of seeds of hell that's trying to plant in your life, look like they're going to try to be so deep down and rooted that you can't get it out. The devil is a lie. You will overcome, and God is going to help you overcome. And so you got to remember, think on what is happening with you right now. Think on what you're going to do about it before you go to bed. Think on what you're going to do about it tomorrow. You're going to seek the counsel. You're going to look at what you've done. And so just think on this before you go to bed tonight. Am I feeling good as I turn in for the night? Did I express my love for others by my actions? Say this to yourself right now. I will take a moment to remember the details of my day because I don't really know. Okay? Now think on this. Whom did I treat with kindness? Whom did I treat with bitterness? Whom did I dishonor or disrespect? Let me name them. Because if you think about that, you may have quite a few people that you may have done that to, and you may not even realize it because of your pain. So did they feel my expression of kindness, or did they feel my expression of pain? How can I tell? And all you have to do is meditate on that. And then meditate on who didn't get my better self in our interaction. So think on who did I be so rude to and short with because they made me remember something that was painful or something I'm trying to deal with that is painful. And if I could redo these exchanges, what would I do differently? What would you think about doing different because you operated out of your pain, out of the fear of being rejected or impressed by somebody else that they're trying to give you more pain? And then think, do I owe them an apology? Should I go and apologize? Because I did act kind of hard because I was thinking of my pain. And then think, if I do, I will make it happen on tomorrow so that I can be sure and embrace this season of pain so that I can know that I can bring the true happiness and fulfill the true purposes that God is using this season of pain. God bless you.